From Smit6y Works, the maker of the Nordic-inspired Act 60, comes a more sci-fi and novel take on the leaf spring mount. This is the Aeroboard 70, and there's a bunch of shit to unpack with this, along with an extensive-ass geek hack. So, talking about the elephant in the room first, price. As of right now, it's expected to be less than $475, and if you want the brass gold coated frames, it's about $560. It's an in-stock group buy that will start roughly around end of July with about 400 units, with another 100 units being the coated frames. It is unquestionably expensive, but I still think it's definitely one to consider. Reason 1, this board's a straight work of art. Aesthetically, it's the love child of the Corsair Dominator Ram, TIE Fighter, strong lines, it just screams new wave. Starting with the side profile, it reminds me a bit of my Nessun N6 with the grill-like milling that gets encompassed by the top case, and similarly with the protrusion into the backside. And moving to the back profile, there's just so much going on. There's the toughened glass to reflect the RGB strips inside, the logo above the USB port, the symmetrical chamfers along the edges, and if you really wanted to get into the nitty-gritty of the design philosophy, I highly suggest you take a look at the interest check linked below, just because, just look at this exploded view. Like, holy shit. The second reason is the dual ring leaf spring mounting, which means both the PCB and the plate can be fitted with silicone hanging blocks, and you do have the option to choose between two different times of stiffness. I was also sent the FR4 plate with the hot swap PCB, and both have a shit ton of flex cuts on them, so I can only imagine how soft the typing experience can be. And after getting the board built up with all the foam, the softer silicone hangers, root beer floats, and 2048 keycaps, I have to say this is a really comfortable typing experience. As the board stands right now, it's not bouncy per se, but there is definitely perceivable reverb throughout the entire keyboard. It's not fatiguing to use by any means, considering the foam does help to mitigate the amount of flex in the board. But one thing I will say is that the Aero does come off a little bit quiet overall volume-wise, and that's not bad by any means. It still has a pretty strong sound profile, and even with the foam, the spacebar does pop quite a bit. I'm going to play around with the mounting just a little bit more, maybe take out some of the case foam, and we can see how the board stands on its own. I will say, if it's something with the implementation of the leaf springs or the design of the board overall, this is one of the better sounding keyboards even with flex cuts. I did spend some time with various phone setups, and I think personally using the plate foam with the FR4 plate was the most comfortable for me, and also sounded the most balanced. Also considering how flexible the entire assembly is, even with the stiffer silicone hangers, after a while it did become quite tiring to type on until I put the plate foam back in. And one note with the plate is that Zenclack told me that they'll be including a higher quality Owlab plate, so I think that'll be sick, and help to even out the typing feel and acoustics. All in all, for my unit costing $475, honestly it's really sick, and definitely a departure from more traditional keyboard designs. While sound-wise it's not my particular cup of tea, and considering this board does not support slip backspace, I might pass. But if you're someone who's looking for a statement keyboard, then look no further. The fit, finish, modularity, and overall experience I've had with this board has just been quality. And like I said before, the in-stock group buy for this board will start sometime mid-late July, and if you're interested, you can check out the long-ass interest check in the description. But other than that, that's all I got for you guys. Take care, and have a good one.